The rain fell in a relentless sheet, turning the city into a world of shimmering gray and black. From his vantage point on a rooftop overlooking Central Avenue, Kid Quick watched and listened. The constant drumming of water on concrete was a familiar song, but tonight he was listening for a different tune, the sharp, discordant note of trouble. For a while, there was nothing but the city's usual rhythm. Then he heard it. A piercing screech of tires on wet asphalt, a high-pitched scream that cut through the downpour, and the groan of metal as a massive city bus began to slide sideways, out of control. His eyes, sharper than any eagle's, scanned the street below. He spotted the source of the scream instantly. A little girl, no older than 7 or 8, stood frozen in the middle of a crosswalk. She clutched the straps of her bright pink backpack, her small face a mask of pure terror. The bus was a yellow monster, hydroplaning, its front end swinging wildly toward her. It was moving too fast, way too close. There was no time for the driver to regain control, no time for the girl to run. Kid Quick didn't waste a single millisecond on thought. His body was already in motion. He launched himself from the rooftop, his feet barely touching the brickwork as he sprinted down the side of the building. To him, the world slowed to a crawl. The raindrops, once a torrential downpour, now hung suspended in the air like a million tiny glass beads. He hit the pavement, and his legs became a blur of red and yellow. The street was a river, but he ran across its surface, kicking up plumes of water that seemed to freeze in his wake. He reached the little girl in the crosswalk just as the bus, groaning and tilting, began to tip forward. He scooped her up in one fluid motion, her pink backpack and all, and continued his sprint without breaking stride. In that same instant, the world caught up. Oomph! The massive weight of the bus slammed down onto the exact spot where she had been standing, the impact shaking the ground and sending a tidal wave of street water splashing in all directions. By the time the sound registered, Kid Quick was already on the opposite sidewalk, gently setting the girl back on her feet. She was trembling, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and awe as she stared up at the blur of red and yellow that had just saved her. You're Kid Quick," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the rain. A grin spread across his face. "Yep, that's me," he said, his voice warm and reassuring. He gave a little tap to the top of her head. "Next time, make sure you wait for the little green man, okay?" And just like that, before the stunned onlookers, the gasping bus driver, or even the little girl could say thank you, he was gone. A flicker of motion, a gust of wind that smelled like ozone and rain, and then nothing. Kid Quick was already racing toward the horizon, a streak of lightning seeking out the next person who needed help. Another hero's work just beginning in the rain-soaked city.